So now that we're all laying nice and comfortable, we'll start our body scan at the top of our head. And so today I would like you to start with tipping your head backwards a little bit. So kind of think of bringing your chin towards the ceiling as you just gently tip your head back a little bit. And then slowly bring it back to neutral. And then tip your head forward a little bit by tucking your chin towards your chest. And then slowly release that. And then rolling your head to one side and going as far as you can go comfortably. And then nice and slow and smooth, roll back to center. Pause for a second in center. And then roll to the other side. And then slowly bring it back to center again. Just paying attention to how that movement's feeling today, how smooth or unsmooth it's feeling. And now we're going to move into our shoulders. So I want you just to think about your shoulder blades and how they feel today on the floor. Does one side feel different than the other? And then moving down through your arms, all the way to your fingers, and notice how you have your hands and your fingers today. Are you holding your fingers closed? Are your fingers open? Are your palms facing up or down? Just taking note. And now we're going to move into our torsos, and let's start by taking a few nice breaths here. So we're going to inhale, a nice deep inhale. Think of bringing that air all the way to the bottom of your stomach. And exhale. And again, a nice, slow, deep breath, inhale. And notice how your torso feels as you're doing these breaths. How much movement do you feel in your body when you take these breaths? Exhale. Really pay attention to how your rib cage is moving, how your back feels when you're taking these breaths, how your stomach feels. And then moving down into your hips.
And noticing how your hips feel today on the floor and down through your legs. Notice how your calves feel in the back of your knees and how your feet all the way to your toes. And when you're ready, we'll bring our knees to their bent position with your feet standing flat on the floor. And we're going to start with a couple of flattens again today. So we're laying relaxed. We'll take an inhale first. And exhale as you flatten your back to the floor, bringing your pubic bone towards your ribs and your ribs towards your pubic bone, squeezing in your tummy muscles. Hold for just a second. And now super slowly, with control, release your tummy muscles as slow and smooth as you can. And then make sure to rest. And we'll repeat that one again. Inhale first. And exhale as you flatten your back to the floor, bringing your pubic bone towards your ribs and your ribs to your pubic bone, flattening the back, tightening your tummy muscles. Super slowly with control, releasing now in your tummy as you inhale. Super slow, nice and controlled. And then rest. And we'll do one more of those. Inhale first. And exhale as you flatten your back to the floor, bringing your ribs and pubic bone towards each other. Hold for just a moment and super slowly begin to release. Slow and smooth. As you inhale, slowly releasing. And then make sure to rest. Now we're going to do our tilts and flattens. We're going to put them together and do them really nice and fluid. So we're going to start with our tilt now. So inhale and tilt, rolling your tailbone forward and down into the floor gently. Pause for a moment. Exhale now as you super slowly release the tilt in your hips. Super slow. And at the end of the release, going right into flatten. Pause for a moment. And now inhale as you slowly release in your abdominal muscles. Slowly releasing in your tummy. Super slow. And at the end of that release, going right into tilt. Tilting, rolling your tailbone forward and down. And inhaling. Exhale as you super slowly release the tilt in your hips. Slow and smooth. And at the end of the release, going right into flatten. Flattening your back into the floor, bringing the ribs and the pubic bone towards each other. Hold for just a moment, then super slowly begin to release in your tummy muscles. Super slow and controlled. Releasing in your tummy. And at the very end of that release, going right back into tilt again, rolling your tailbone forward and down into the floor. Holding for just a moment, and then super slowly releasing the tilt. Super slow, letting your lower back float back down towards the floor. At the end of the release, going right into flatten again, tightening your abdominal muscles as your back flattens to the floor. Hold for a moment, and super slowly release. And at the end of the release of the abdominal muscles, you're going to rest. So next we're going to do a little bit of hip hiking to get up into our obliques, and we're going to do this with long legs today. So go ahead and straighten your legs now. And we're going to start by contracting on our right side. So what you're going to be doing is flexing your right foot, which means bringing your toes towards your face. And at the same time, you'll think of bringing your right hip along the floor up towards your armpit, just a little bit and just gently. At the same time now, point your left toe. So you're pointing the toe down towards the floor. So you're lengthening the left leg and you're shortening on the right side. Now, super slowly with control, we're going to reverse that. So slowly letting your right hip come back down and rest it, and slowly begin to point the right toe. And at the same time, you're slowly flexing the left toe and bringing that, bringing your left hip up towards the armpit. So think of drawing it along the floor and up towards the armpit, just a little bit. Always remember to stay in your comfort. Then super slowly switching that movement again. So slowly releasing now on the left side, lengthening now on the left as you slowly begin to shorten on the right, flexing the right foot, bringing the right hip up towards the armpit. Then super slowly switching again. Sorry, I got distracted because Deanne's dog is giving her kisses while she's doing this one today. When you finish that one, slowly switching one more time. Slowly begin to point and lengthen on the left side as you shorten on the right. Flexing the right foot. And then super slowly now release on the right side and come back to a rested neutral position. Good. Now we're going to do just a little bit with the shoulders while we're still laying in this position. So I would like everybody to press their right shoulder down into the floor, and at the same time roll your right hand so that your palm is facing up. So that will help to really press that shoulder blade down into the floor. Hold it for just a moment, and now super slowly release the shoulder and slowly turn the hand back over. Slow and smooth. Releasing in the shoulder and slowly turning that right hand back to being palm down. And then rest. And now same thing on the left side. So pressing the left shoulder down into the floor, and at the same time, gently rolling your hand so that your left palm is facing up to the ceiling. Hold it for just a moment and then super slowly release. Super slowly releasing the shoulder and slowly letting that arm roll back in. For this next shoulder movement, you're going to be thinking of lifting your shoulder straight up towards the ceiling and then in towards your left hip. So it'll be going up and across towards your left hip. At the same time, let your arm roll in towards your body. So the back of your hand will be facing your legs. Hold it for just a moment. And then super slowly release it, slowly letting the shoulder come back down and slowly letting your arm roll back to palm facing up, I think is where it will feel nicest. Perfect. So we're going to start that one on the left side. Let's start with the palm facing up. So left arm now, your palm is facing up to start. You're going to lift the shoulder up towards the ceiling. And think of bringing it down across to the right hip at the same time. Now rolling your arm so that the back of your hand is against your leg or your body. And then holding it for just a moment and then releasing, slowly letting that shoulder come back down towards the floor, slowly with control, letting your arm come away from your body and roll back open to palm facing up at the same time. And then take just a moment to rest. And now we're going to do both shoulders at the same time. So both shoulders now are going to come up towards the ceiling and across towards the opposite hip as you roll both arms in towards your body. So the back of both hands will be against your legs or wherever they're at. So you're squeezing those shoulders gently towards each other and across. Slowly now release, slowly letting the shoulders drift back down towards the floor as your arms slowly begin to unwind. Slowly letting your arms roll back to palms facing up. And rest. Good, and when you finish that one, we're gonna roll over onto our bellies. And we'll be doing a couple of over the shoulders. So we're gonna start with the right side. So your left arm will be laying long beside your body. Your right arm will be up and you'll be looking towards the right elbow. So your cheeks on the back of your hand, you're looking towards your elbow. So this one we like to do, or I personally like to do the lift on an exhale. It's totally up to you, but that's how I like to start it. So we're gonna inhale as we're laying relaxed first. Inhale. And exhale as you lift your head, your chest, and your elbow, gently looking over and lengthening and lifting the left leg. Hold for just a moment. Now super slowly begin to lower. Slowly lowering your head, your chest, and your elbow, and your leg. Slow and smooth. Lowering them together. And when everything's back to the floor, make sure to rest. We're going to repeat that one again. This time I want you all to only go 50% effort into the contraction as you did on the last one. So if you lifted your foot only, or your leg a foot off the floor last time, you're going to go half a foot. So starting with an inhale as we lay relaxed first. Inhale. And exhale as you lift your head, your chest, your elbow, lengthening and lifting the left leg. Hold for a moment. Slowly begin to lower. Slow and smooth. Lowering your head, your chest, your elbow, and your leg. And when everything is back down to the floor, make sure to rest. And we're going to do one more on that side. Inhale first. And exhale as you lift your head, your chest, your elbow, lengthening the left leg. Think of looking over your shoulder gently. Hold for a moment. Super slowly lowering. And what you're paying attention to is the release and this contralateral pattern you have in your back here, so that the right hip and the left shoulder, the right shoulder and the left hip, we're coming towards each other. And as you're releasing, that's where you should feel that slow, controlled release. When you finish that one, we're going to switch to the other side. So you'll be bringing your left arm up to your face. Your right arm will be going down long beside your body. And we'll start with a rested inhale again first. So inhale. And exhale as you lift your head, your chest, your elbow, lengthening and lifting the right leg, holding for just a moment, and super slowly lowering. Again, noticing the releasing of the contraction in your back as you're slowly lowering everything back down to the floor. When everything is back to the floor, make sure to take a moment to rest. We'll repeat that one again, this time only going 50% as high as you did on the first one. Inhale first. Exhale as you lift your head, your chest, your elbow, lengthening and lifting the right leg, gently looking over the left shoulder. Slowly begin to release. Super, super slow and smooth. Lowering the leg, lowering the head, the chest, and the elbow. And make sure to rest. And one more time on this side. Inhale first. And exhale as you lift your head, your chest, your elbow, lengthening and lifting the right leg. Slowly begin to lower. Super slowly, with control. Always working for slower and smoother. When everything is back down to the floor, make sure to take a moment to rest. Then we're going to bring both the arms up and rest your forehead on the back of both your hands. And we're going to do just a couple of peekaboos now. So for the first one, you're just going to be lifting your head. Your arms will stay on the floor. Your hands will stay on the floor, and you'll just lift your head. So go ahead, lifting your head upwards, lifting your eyes and your face, only to where you're comfortable. And then super slow and smooth now, lowering your head and your eyes together. Try to keep the movement of Your eyes matching with the movement of your head as you slowly lower the head back down until your forehead is resting on your hands again. And then take just a moment to rest. And we'll do that one more time. So lifting your face and your eyes upwards and holding for just a second, and then super slowly lowering. Slow and smooth, lowering your head and your eyes together, all the way back down. And then making sure to rest once you've rested your forehead back on your hands. For this next movement, we're going to be lifting our elbows. So your head and your hands will stay on the floor, and you're going to be lifting your elbows. You'll notice that you're going to feel that squeezing between your shoulder blades. So go ahead, lifting the elbows, feeling a little bit of a gentle squeeze between the shoulder blades. Hold for just a moment, and now super slowly lowering the elbows back to the floor. Slow and smooth, with control. And then rest. And then we're going to repeat that same one again, lifting just the elbows as your head and your hands stay on the floor. Your elbows lift upwards, gently squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. Hold for just a moment, and then super slowly lowering. Slow and smooth. Lowering your elbows back down to the floor. And then take just a moment to rest. And then what we're going to go into next is our armpit to hip on our side. So from this position now, you're all going to roll onto your left side first. So your right side will be up to the ceiling. So laying on our left side, you're going to be bringing your legs out in front of you so that your knees are straight out from your hips, and your feet will be straight down from your knees as if you're sitting in a chair. So knees straight out from your hips, and then the heels of your feet should be straight down from your knees. So you could kind of see your toes peeking out. Perfect, everybody. I think most of you have done this one before, but I'll just do a quick explanation. With that top arm, your right arm, you can either leave it laying in front of you, or you can bring it up over top of your head. Make sure to stay in comfort. It does not matter for this movement where it is, as long as you're comfortable. So it can either be up over your head, or you can leave it lying comfortably in front of you. This movement is the bottom part of the body and the top. We're going to be squeezing in the obliques. So the movement will be happening, the contraction will be happening between your right hip and your right armpit as we squeeze in the side. So we're going to be lifting your foot. Your top foot will be lifting off of your bottom foot as you think of rolling your right thigh towards the floor. And at the same time, you'll be drawing your armpit. So go ahead, lift the right leg, the right foot, up off of your left foot as you roll that right thigh forward, which will be bringing that right hip towards your armpit. At the same time, now lift your head and chest and think of drawing the right armpit towards your hip. Hold for a moment, and now super slowly with control, lower your head and your foot back down. And make sure to rest when you've finished. I also like to do this one on an exhale, so this time let's try it with some breath. So we're going to inhale first. And exhale as you lift your right foot off of the left foot, rolling that thigh forward, lifting your head and chest, bringing the armpit and the hip towards each other. Hold for a moment. Super slowly begin to lower. Slowly lowering your foot and slowly lowering your head back down to the floor. And then take a moment to rest. And we're going to do one more on that side. So inhale first. And exhale as you're rolling the right thigh forward towards the floor, lifting the right foot just gently off the left and drawing the right armpit towards your hip as you've lifted your head. Hold for a moment. Slowly begin to lower. Slowly lowering your head and your foot back down to the floor. slowly with control. And when you've finished that one and without rushing, you'll roll to your back and then to your other side. So now your left side will be down to the floor, right side will be down to the floor. Your left side will be up to the ceiling, knees straight out from your hips and feet straight down from your knees. That top arm can either be laying in front of you or up over your head. So we're going to start in our relaxed position with an inhale first. And exhale as you roll your left thigh forward towards the floor, lifting your foot gently. Lift your head and chest, drawing your left armpit towards that hip. Hold for a moment and super slowly begin to lower. Slowly lowering your head, slowly lowering your foot with control. And make sure to rest. And repeating that one again, a nice inhale first. And exhale as you roll the thigh forward towards the floor, lifting your left foot, drawing the left armpit towards the hip. And slowly begin to lower. Slowly with control. And I know you guys hear me say that a whole lot. Slowly with control. Remember that the control is the speed with which you're doing your lowering. Keeping a constant speed if you can. Really working to make it smooth and controlled. One more time. Inhale first. And exhale as you're rolling that left thigh forward towards the floor, lifting your left foot gently off the right, drawing the left armpit towards your hip. Hold. And super slowly begin to release. Super slow and smooth. Lowering the foot, lowering the head. And taking just a moment to rest. And when you finish that one, without rushing, we're going to roll onto our backs again with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. And now we're going to bring both hands up behind the head or behind your ears, wherever it's comfortable for you. Remember, if you need to put pillows under your elbows or change the position of your arms, staying in your comfort zone is always most important. Nothing should ever hurt when we're doing somatics, so please remember that. So we're going to start with our inhale and arch, and as long as everybody's back is feeling good, you can go ahead and add your shoulders in. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down into the floor. Think of pressing your shoulder blades down and drawing them towards your tailbone. Tilt your head back, hold for just a moment. Now exhale as you super slowly release the contraction in your back, slowly releasing in your neck, slow and smooth. And at the end of that release, going right into flatten as you will bring your pubic bone towards your ribs towards your pubic bone, bringing your elbows together and gently lifting your head and chest into that soft curled position. Hold for a moment and then super slowly begin to lower your head. Slowly lowering your head back down to the floor, slow and smooth. Then slowly letting your elbows open down towards the floor, slowly with control. And once your elbows are resting comfortably on the floor or your pillows, make sure to take just a moment to rest. For our next one, we're going to be directing both elbows towards the right knee. And you can bring that right knee towards both elbows at the same time. So we'll be starting with our inhale and arch again. So inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down into the floor. Press your shoulder blades down and think of drawing them down towards your tailbone. Tilt your head back, hold for a moment. Exhale now as you slowly release the contraction in your pelvis, in your back, and in your shoulders and your neck. Super slowly releasing. And then going right into flatten, bring your elbows together and bring your elbows both towards your right knee and your right knee towards both elbows. Holding for just a moment and super slowly lowering your head and your chest, slowly lowering your foot. And then slowly letting your elbows open. Slow and smooth. And then taking a small moment to rest when you finished. And we'll be doing that same movement now to the left knee. So starting again with our inhale and arch. Inhale and arch, rolling your tailbone forward and down. Press the shoulder blades down to the floor, draw them towards your tailbone. Tilt your head back. Exhale now as you super slowly release the contraction in your back, your hips, and your neck. Slow and smooth. And at the very end of that release, going right into flatten, flattening your back to the floor, bring the elbows together and lift your head, your chest, and your elbows towards your left knee as you bring your left knee towards your elbows. Hold for a moment and super slowly begin to lower. Really noticing the release of the contraction in your abdominals as you slowly lower your head and your foot. And once your head and your foot are resting on the floor, paying attention to the slow release in your chest and your pectoral muscles now as your elbows slowly come down to the floor. Once your elbows are resting comfortably again, take just a moment to rest. And then we're going to do one more full regular arch and curl, so it'll be a straight one. So starting with our inhale and arch again. Inhale as you roll your tailbone forward and down to the floor. Press your shoulder blades down and think of drawing them towards your tailbone. Tilt your head back. Hold for a moment. Exhale now as you super slowly release the contraction in your back. Slowly releasing in your hips and your neck. Slow and smooth. And at the end of the release, going right into flatten, bringing your pubic bone and your ribs towards each other as your back flattens to the floor. Bring your elbows together and gently lift your head and chest into that soft curl position. If you would like to lift your feet for this one, you can do that too. Only staying in your comfort zone, holding, and then slowly releasing, slowly lowering your head and slowly lowering your feet if you did lift them. And once your feet and your head are back to the floor, slowly opening your elbows. And then take just a moment to rest. And when you've finished, and without rushing, we're going to go back into our body scan position. So you'll be laying your legs long again if that's how you had them at the start of class today. And we're going to start with the tilting our head back again. So you'll be thinking of bringing your chin towards the ceiling as you gently tilt your head back. And now super slowly bringing your head back to center. And then tucking your chin forward. And slowly releasing. And now turning your head to one side. And then slowly coming back to center. And then slowly turning to the other side. And coming back to center. And now taking a few really nice deep breaths. We're going to really be paying attention to our torso as we take these breaths. Nice deep inhale, really focusing on bringing that breath down into the bottom of your belly. And exhale, and just paying attention to how you feel now compared to how you felt at the beginning of class today. Do you feel more freedom of movement in your breath? Does your back feel lighter on the floor? Do you feel more movement in your abdominal muscles as you take these breaths? And moving down into your arms, into your hands and your fingers, and try to remember how you were placing those hands and fingers at the beginning today and how they are now. Moving into your hips, down through your legs. How do your legs feel on the floor now? The back of your knees, your calves, and all the way down to your feet and your toes. And when you're ready, you can roll to your side.